Howdy folks, thanks for joining me. Today is the 5th of February 2020 and I'm back in my studio, back from the Inglebean Cafe down the road where I was last week. And so yes, we had fun down there at the Inglebean, meeting people, and so back here I did some mugs for Dennis with the Inglebean man. Yeah, Inglebean man there. That's the sort of logo. So we've got a bunch of them. Some of them I didn't put logos on, so they'll be just plain, or they'll have foxgloves on, or just something different. We did a few other things. Yes, a couple of trimmed bowls there, which ready for fluting, and I've got a bottle here, which is waiting for a strap handle. So that was that. Another thing that I did was I did a paddle form, which I turned into a teapot, which I'm now going to kind of put together. So join me for that. Before I get into that, though, I'm going to give you my spiel. If anybody's interested in a treadle wheel, Leach treadle wheel, made of maple, cherry and walnut, give me a shout. I'm taking orders now for delivery for around about the end of March. So my carpenter hasn't started yet, but he's about to be starting probably in a week or two. So if that interests you, write to me, Simon Leach Pottery at gmail.com. Okay? Give me a shout there if you're interested in coming on a workshop here, a keep practicing workshop, basically to improve your throwing. If you are somebody who is struggling, don't feel that you're getting enough tuition, and you're just a repeater of mistakes over and over again, you might find a workshop would be beneficial to you. So if that interests you, also write to me, simonleachpottery at gmail.com. Yeah, so workshops are there on the website. The dates, pretty much March and April, are full. Now also May is getting full, and then June, July, August, blah, 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 till the end of the year is vacant. Okay? Alright, so yeah, okay, let's get on. What I want to do is make, for this teapot there, a side handle. So I'm going to throw a side handle. It's good to be back on the wheel, I tell you. In the hustle and bustle and clutter of the distracted lives that we live, it's nice to be back in the mud. Do you ever feel that? Getting back in the mud, getting back on the wheel with the clay going through your hands. Just a nice. So let me just bring the camera in. What we're going to do is make a thrown handle, side handle for that. So I just centered up the lump there. Let me just, so you can see what I'm doing a little bit closer. Not too close, mind. We don't want you to see all my mistakes. Alright, so first a little sip of moringa and green tea. Moringa and green tea. Right, so I may have to make more than one of these just to, because not being something I make them fairly often, but not that often. So as with as with anything, you know, it takes a bit of practice, and you may need to make more than one just to refresh your memory as how to do it. You know. So just throw that like that. Now I'm using my finger here, and I'm gonna push down in like that. You see. And now pushing that finger. Okay, I pushed him all the way down to there. Alright. And now pulling that up like that. A little bit of a fiddle to make to start with. You know, if you're new to the idea, let's see. So I'm thinking that it's probably about there. So this is just an alternative kind of handle that you could put on a teapot, as opposed to, let's say, a cane handle, you know, one that goes over the top that you hold from above, or a side handle. Or you could do an over the top kind of cane handle type, but make it out of clay, ceramic. The one problem with that can be, is that be a bit vulnerable to getting knocked, you know. Whereas if you have a cane handle, it's, well, you can replace the cane handle. You see. Now I'm just doing that handle there. I'm just wondering if I'm just going to take a sort of measurement, just to gauge the length. Yeah. The length here, or the height as you are looking at it from your angle, in relation to the teapot. So alright, I think we will. Okay, let's bring the camera down so you can check that out. La, la, la. Oh, actually you can see it quite well, can't you? Alright, it's a fairly graceful shape. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut him off. To do that, I'm going to use there's different ways of doing this. I generally don't cut them off with a wire. I usually cut them off with something like this, because at the same time we get a small bat here, put it on. So I'm going to insert this in, meanwhile I'm holding it, and as I push that in, I'm then going to lift and pull. So I'm going to lift up the whole guy off. So there it is, the blade is in, push, lift, you see? Just put him on on my little bat there. Okay, so that is that. I just wanted to show you that quickly. Next, got to move fast here so we don't overdo our time. Let's just pull back the camera now again, because what I've got to do now is, let me just clean that. Clean them off. Right, we've got a teapot here which has a, what I call a cap lid. Alright, so what I want to do is trim that. Tap center. Like that, sip of tea. Oil the works. Right, now I'm going to just trim away the lid here. What I want is a nice domed lid. Alright, let's just have a look at that. Can you see that? That's got a dome to it. A highest point is in the middle and then it slopes either way. Alright, let's just take that. Put it, you know, when you're making a teapot there's a lot of considerations. Alright, so you'll trim your lid and then you'll look at it and then you'll think, and you might think it's a bit deep from here to here, for example. It might sort of like, it might give you the feeling like you want to lower this edge here. You want to lower it down a bit, you see. So it's also not just the height here, but also the angle there. You see, you may want to change that angle. All right. Which I think I will probably, but for the sake of not getting too lengthy with this, I've just showed you how to do that. I will actually, I think it needs a little adjustment still, but I don't want to labour the point sort of thing right now. So what I'm doing is here, what I want to do is, you see, this was thrown last week, it's been kept, but you'll notice that the top of the lip there, as it is rotating, see, it's a little bit uneven, isn't it? So what I want to do is just with my trim tool, just carefully get that as flat as I can, because so I'm supporting my arm on the side of my wheel here, because I'm wanting to try to hit the high spots here to get that. So he's running. I want to bring down the high spots, you see. Just carefully doing that. I think that's okay. What I'm going to do now is just apply a little water there to that, what I've just done, and now I'm going to flip him over like that. And now I'm going to eyeball him, centre him up. Dee, dee, dee. Okay. Oh! Gently push him down to try to get him to adhere, and then take a sip of tea. Ah, right. So I'm using my mirror there. Now that is now going around fairly true. So I've got to just decide in my mind how I'm finishing this. This was a paddled form, and I'm just debating. So you saw there he moved as I was trimming. He moved. Don't worry about that. It's just an opportunity for you to pick him up when that happens and scrutinize him a little bit. The form, you see. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut in there. I'm going to cut in there, so it'll have a little bit of a cut foot. This one. Not just cut on the inside, but cut on the outside. Alright, tap centre, gently push him down. He may come off again, but that's okay. It doesn't bother me. Just go with the flow, you know? Now then. Alright, I'm going to take him off now on purpose. I'm going to look at him again. Alright, so what I mean by a cut foot on the, not hollowing out just the inside here, but cutting the form here as well. And also this one, of course, is heavily beveled on the corner, which we like because that adds something to the form. Alright. I'm just thinking, I think I'm going to make it a fraction more narrow. Just a fraction. Be a bit careful about that you don't. How long is this clip so far? Is anybody keeping a... I don't have a clock. I don't wear a wristwatch, and I don't have a clock in here that works, so I basically haven't got a clue what the time is, and I probably don't want to go over time, you see. So that angle that I'm cutting there is a sort of continuation of this angle on the side here. It comes right the way down across the foot, you see. Where's my light? More light on the subject. Okay, I think I'm gonna say I'm happy with that. Well, if I'm not, I can always come back to it, can't I? Whoop. You came off again. Stay there, boy. So when I'm doing this kind of trimming, I am exerting with this finger in the middle here. You've got to give it some downward push, because when you're trimming fairly forcefully, confidently, you need to have it with some downward pressure there, okay? the advantage of that is it you know, to have to put soft lumps of clay around the base of your pot every time you're trimming, you know, becomes exceedingly tedious. Apart from anything else, all the trimmings fall down and stick to the soft clay, and then you've got to sort of deal with that. And okay, it came off then. Get my finger in, I'm just trying to, I'm wondering to myself the thickness through the base there, so I don't want to, I don't think I want to go any deeper than what I have. So tap center. Probably tap centering as a technique is probably one of the most useful techniques that you can learn as a potter, and it's something you will learn automatically if you do pottery for any length of time, and you won't need, it's something you really should learn, and you need to determine that you're going to do that, and put away all other crutches. Okay, you know what I mean by crutches, without mentioning names, getting myself into hot water. The good can be the enemy of the best. The best is tap centering. Alright, no more to say about that, but anyway, look, there it is. Okay. So a teapot is a bringing together of a lot of different emotions and feelings. Okay, we've done that. Good. Now, there's that. Okay, what I didn't do is, what I should do is, having been face down, you just want to go over that edge, that top edge there, like that. All right, and there's that, and there's that. Oh yeah. Teapot. Don't forget with the teapot, what you want to do is put a hole in the lid. There's a good reason why you have a hole in the lid. Oh, well, that's to let the steam out, Simon. Well, no, it isn't actually. I'll tell you what it's for. That's why you put a hole in a teapot lid, is to let air in, so when the tea pours out, it pulls in air through that hole. If you don't have it there and it can't get enough air, the tea sort of goes pop, 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 pop. Pardon my... Alright, so what we're going to do now, if I can do it quickly. Boom, boom, boom. Right, here's a spout, okay, that I cut, I threw. So what I'm going to do, that's got to go on there. Very important thing to remember when putting on a spout. Make sure that when you cut the spout and stick it onto the teapot, that it corresponds with the level of the tea, or is higher than the level of the tea. I see so many teapot spouts that are way down here. That means you can't fill the teapot more than half full, because it's just going to pour out the spout before you've even started to pour it. It's pouring out. Okay, so I'm just going to here. You see what I'm doing? Just like that. Okay. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this spatula knife, and I'm just going to cut it right the way through there like that. Now I know from experience that that's about approximately going to be the right angle. Alright, now I can be wrong on that, I'm well aware of that, but I'm going to, you see what I'm doing here? You've got to, yeah, okay, here now, just take back some of that clay like that. Alright, and what you should do next is we're going to dip this in water. Alright, dip him in water. Okay, let him soften a bit. So then what you're going to do is hold him up to the teapot. Are we in the picture? Hold him up to the teapot like that. Now the teapot height of the spout looks good. Alright, there he is. Now I'm just applying a bit of pressure here, okay? After you wetted him, apply a little bit of pressure. That should leave a kind of mark there. It's difficult to see with this teapot because I've got so many other marks on it. But so what I'm going to do because of that, I'm going to mark it myself again just around it. Usually just by wetting it and pushing it on, it leaves a mark, you see, on the side of the teapot. Alright, so next what I want to do is take my hole borer. What we're going to do is we're going to put some holes here, you see. This is the strainer. Alright, I put about 10 holes here, as neatly as I can. So I do like four vertically and then 3 on either side vertically. Something like that. Alright, you get the picture? Okay, now next, take some slurry or slip from down in your wheel. Okay, actually, I am omitting to say we want to score it. Right, score the teapot like I'm doing, where the Alright, score him like that. Now take some water, some splidge or slitch, whatever you want to call it, and you want to put that. Now I don't do like I'm putting on handles and I say don't bother to score it and do all that. With teapots I do that. Alright, and don't go overboard with the slurry here. Just put it over that scored area, okay? Something like that. I'm working a little bit kind of because I'm aware of that clock ticking. Ha! When it gets to 29.51, the video cuts out. I don't know why it decides to do it then, but it does. Okay, so now what you want to do is, you see, you want to line the spout up with, like I'm doing, with the holes so that it's, and make sure he's straight, and then apply some pressure here to the base of the spout here and where he's going to join. And alright, and now what we've got to do is, with some further pressure and some finger work here, alright, around here like this, push that down. Don't want any leaks, do we? That would not be good. And then along up the side here, see, like that, all the way down there. Okay, once you've done, you've applied quite a good amount of pressure and you've got it. You could, with a sponge, just sponge away any excess slurry.